Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got a great show for you today. Thanks to my friend, one of our fabulous hosts, Kornelia Stephanie, joining me here today. Look, this is about change your mind. When we say change your mind, it's a really interesting conversation that I've had with myself lately. And I do talk to myself quite a bit. And some of the ladies that are joining me here today, they know that I talk to myself quite a bit. But one of the things that I think it's important to really point out is if we're going to have a conversation with ourselves, what is that conversation going to look like? What do we want to know? What do we want to ask ourselves? But today, the question that I think we're all looking at is, what do I want my mind to know about my life? What do I want my mind to know about my life? Do I want to tell myself that perhaps I have signed on to play small? Do I want to tell myself that maybe, it's easier to play the game not to lose than it's actually to even say the word win? But I'm going to let, my friend and colleague Kornelia talk about that, because joining me today, she is the summit leader. And what does that mean? What does that mean when you step into a role that says, I'm going to do something that is going to influence the world, and I'm going to do it for the following reasons? Today, you're going to find out why. Kornelia, it's great to have you.
Thanks, Dr. Pat. It's so awesome to be with you again and the team, KKNW and Benny and Carter. It's wonderful to be here today to talk about the upcoming Change Your Mind Summit beginning on June 11th. At 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you said it in the beginning, Dr. Pat, change. It's about change, and it's about change your mind. And I'm realizing myself that I am continuously changing my mind about something. And it's always to take myself to a higher, a better place for me to be. So what is the Change Your Mind Summit about? It's about assisting all the people that are ready to embrace change in their life, because we're all faced with so much change right now. To embrace change in their life with ease and grace, rather than our old way of where we resist change. And I decided to put on this summit and bring you 11 of the most powerful, awesome speakers that are going to support you with this ease and grace in changing your mind about whatever it is that's holding you back. I don't want to take up too much time talking about this, because I want to introduce the speakers here and what you can expect of the upcoming Change Your Mind Summit and what they're going to be talking about. And stay tuned, because we're going to talk about bring you all the different speakers, and we're also going to talk about the grand prizes that we're making available for everybody, which there is an opportunity for you to win up to $3,500 with this summit. So we're pulling out all the stops. We're not holding back. We're going high. We're going big, and we're not going home. So yeah. I'm so excited. Pat, do you want to introduce our first speaker, or do you want me to?
I think both of us should. Why don't you start out, and then I'll give you my perception on who this speaker is.
That sounds wonderful. First speaker, she's also a host on the Transformation Talk Radio Network. She is a powerhouse, a confidence coach, and she is rocking my world. Her name is Susan Axelrod. Susan, welcome to the show.
Hi, Kornelia.
Welcome.
Hi, Dr. Pat. How are you today? Good to see you.
Well, listen, yeah, here's the thing. When Cornelia says she's bringing a few people together to do this summit, that is like an understatement. These are powerhouse people. Susan Axelrod isn't somebody that just shows up and does a show. Here's what I want to say about everybody y'all are going to hear from today. These are women that have decided they are going to play to win and they are going to help others do the same. So when we talk about them and introduce them, as speakers in the summit, that is an understatement about who they are. They are passionate, they are purposeful, and they are on a mission, as all of us are. Some days I'm not sure or I'm not clear about what my mission is, but I got to tell y'all right now, I started a noon show that airs today at noon, and it's called Power Up Radio. And people ask me why. I don't really have a good reason, but I want to ask Susan Axelrod the question, why, Susan? Great to have you.
Thank you, Dr. Pat. And I have an answer. I am elated. Can you see how I cannot keep the smile off my face? I am delighted to be one of the summit speakers. My program is called Change Your Mind About Yourself. Start with Getting Okay. Dr. Pat is starting another new radio show to up-level her life. Change your mind about yourself. Elevate, elevate, elevate. Imagine the possibility that you could achieve what you want to achieve in your head. Imagine that you could confidently go forth and do that thing that the back of your mind maybe says, oh, you shouldn't be able to do that. I teach people to start by getting okay. Get okay with yourself. Get okay with who you are, where you are. I call this the platform of okay. Dr. Pat, she's been okay for a long time, but she's not okay just staying there. Once you get to that point, that's when you can up level no matter who you are, how old you are, where you are, or what you're doing. And that's what we're going to be talking about on my session. Thank you, Kornelia.
When is your session, Susan?
It's Friday, June 14th, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Can't wait to see you there.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's introduce the next speaker. Okay, we have another wonderful co-host, also host of the at the Transformation Talk Radio Network, and Autumn Seibel is a medium. She is an absolute medium. She is a powerhouse, and she is with us today from Africa. It's evening time there in Africa, and she's going to be one of the powerhouse speakers at the Change Your Mind Summit. Tell us today, Autumn, what it is that you're bringing to the summit.
Hi guys! Hello from Africa.
Hey, Autumn, you got to answer the same question Susan did. This is an equal opportunity moment to answer the question why as well. Everybody has to answer that, right, Susan? Susan's like, wait a minute, I had to answer that question. Great to see you, Autumn.
Great to see you too, Dr. Pat and Benny and Carter. Hi, everybody. So when Kornelia asked me to be part of this summit, the Change Your Mind was the first thing that I heard, and I said yes, because as a former high school social studies teacher for 10 years, I would tell my students, you can literally do anything you set your mind to, literally anything. And it was always about this growth-oriented mindset in the classroom and then throughout my life. Like Kornelia said, yes, I am a medium. I'm a practicing medium. And that for me was something that a long time ago I changed my mind about. And I, instead of being scared of it and fearful and not understanding what it was, I said, you know what if I just dive in with a growth mindset and I explore what this is without fear, without judgment, without condemnation, and just see this is better than staying like small and scared and in a corner, right? And so with that, I changed my mind and changed my viewpoint. And what I'll be bringing to the summit is I'll be discussing about how to manifest your dream life using the cycles of the new and full moon, which, speaking of Africa, I am living in Africa right now because I changed my mind about where I wanted to be and where I wanted to raise my family. And no, it didn't happen overnight. but it happened in 6 months. And that's what I'm bringing to the table. It's just this idea that you really can set your mind to something and then let the universe conspire with you to let the little details pop where they need to. And anything is possible. It truly, truly is. But it starts with changing your mind. And that's why you got to come join us. Changeyourmind.us is where you can find us. And my portion of the summit is going to be June 11th at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. So tune in.
Awesome.
You know,
Thank you.
yeah, I think part of this too is there's an end game in mind in this. And we're going to take a short break, Kornelia, right? We're going to take a short break, but there's an end game in mind. And, you know, I'm doing a show at noon. And of course, I am not the best host. Kornelia, you will know this. We have a requirement on the network that you got to send your stuff in early. Like I just sent my episode title in like 15 minutes ago, right? I am not the role model. I know. But here's what's happening. Everything is up right now for an explosive new beginning. That's why this summit is so important. Because if we do not believe in the consciousness of our mind, both the sub-unconscious levels in our mind, if we do not believe that we are more than powerful, that we are change agents for a better world, if we do not believe this, first of all, none of y'all would have said yes to Kornelia at all. You'd have been like, oh, no, next, not me. So that's number one. Number two, each of you in your own right, and you, Autumn, as well, you live this, you breathe this. You know, you move to a place that many of us can't even pronounce properly, but you did it. And here we are today saying, we are going to share this. This is what Kornelia is doing. This is not about, you know, a number of powerful thought leaders, women getting together and just having a great time, which is going to happen anyway. This is about inviting everybody listening to this show to sign on to the energy of powerful, powerful change in the mind. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we're just warming up. Autumn, great to see you. Susan, great to see you. We'll be right back. I'll tell you that song, that is, thank you, Benny. That song is one of my favorite songs. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about the lyrics of that song later on, because it's not just about change your mind. The summit is that. But when you change your mind, you free your mind. And when you free your mind, you completely open to the infinite possibilities in the universe. Kornelia, isn't that what this is about, right?
It really is, Dr. Pat, because the way that I look at change, you know, people could really ask themselves the question, how do they deal with change? That would be a question to ask yourself. How do you deal with change? Do you rebel against change? Are you welcoming change in? You know, how do you deal with change? Because one of my mottos is this, that I fully 100% embrace change, because I know that the way things are not part of what I want them to be. So if change is an opportunity to be released from your past. And so it's the catalyst, right? And so that's what this summit is about, when everybody right now in the world is talking about change. But, you know, on the political front, there is so much change happening. Let's embrace change and let us be open, fluid, ready to embrace change. And that's why I'm bringing you the best of the best. These are the best of the best. These women that are here on this summit are bringing their absolute best to you. And you know how I do things, Dr. Pat. I come large and in charge, right? Because that's the same thing that I did with the Millionaire Imprint for Women. And we came and brought that energy. It's the same thing with this summit. It is really creating a momentum to create a ripple effect for all of us to be the voice of change that we want to see in the world. And that is what this event is about. And I'm just so honored to be with these women, to create this event so that we can influence and affect the change that we want to see in the world. I want to bring on our next guest right now. Our next guest is...
Well, we have a few people going to join us in this segment too. So I just want to say, everybody on Facebook, if you actually see a bunch of faces on Facebook Live here, as Carter brings them up, we're going to tell you who everybody is. But you're right. We're getting ready to introduce some women that also are all in, and there's a reason why. So go ahead, Kornelia. Who do we want to chat with us first?
Super powerhouse woman showed up in my life recently. Her name is Deborah Lupien, and she is the voice of the Akashic Records. I can't wait for you to meet her. She is one powerhouse woman. She shows up and she is ready to play full out. That's how she models, and that's how she is leading by example. Welcome to the show, Deborah Lupien.
Thanks, Kornelia, Dr. Pat. So great to be with you today. I love Dr. Pat and I are wearing the same lipstick. How cool is that?
I'm telling you, we just be kissing everybody today. Sorry. All the other folks that don't know me, they're like, what am I signed on to right here talking to this woman? Deborah, it's an interesting question. And first of all, we want to know what you're speaking about, but I really am interested in why you're speaking. Because the topic is important, but every one of us said yes to the reason that we're here today. I got to tell you, for me, over 15 years, it's changed. But the one thing that hasn't changed was I wanted to reach 1 million people 15 years ago and help them live life full out. How we do it has changed. What is it about this that's so important for you, and especially in what you're talking about?
Well, what's so important for me is when I became the voice of the Akashic Records and I connected with divine, whatever you call your higher power, it was so profound and powerful that I was inspired to share it with the world. So I wrote a book to get the word out to more people, but there are still many people who've never even heard about the Akashic Records, and it's their birthright. It's their missing manual. They need this to live those powerhouse lives that we want them to live. So I'm compelled to. I can't help it.
Well, the Akashic Records, for people that don't know, tap into an ancient sense of wisdom. And what I mean by that is that I don't know about you, or I don't know about the other folks that are speaking at the summit, but there are some days I don't know what end is up. And the best way I know how to get there is asking for guidance. Isn't that the lost art today? This idea of tapping into these ancient records. Have we forgotten it? And it's part of your role to remind people.
That's absolutely what it is, because it was always there. We could always tap into it. Most of us were raised with the idea that pray without ceasing, but nobody taught us how to get the answers. And that's why I'm going to be talking about, if you could ask God one question, what would it be? Because the point is, you can ask God questions all day, and I want to encourage you to do that. But I'm also here to help you learn how to hear the answers, because they're always coming. We're just not seeing them. We're not hearing them. That's the most frequent question I get from people. How do I hear my guides? I'm asking, where are my answers? So that's what I'm bringing to the table.
I love that. That's a big thing. Like, how many questions do I get?
Unlimited.
Ask God. All right, good.
Yeah, that would be wonderful, Pat, because for the summit, we're going to have a Q&A, and we're making it available for people to ask questions.
Awesome.
So definitely tune in, audience, to bring your questions to the call and ask any of the speakers any questions that you want. Engage with us on Facebook, because we've got a huge presence on Facebook also. But thank you, Deborah. Thank you.
Thanks, Deborah.
Yes. Let's bring on the next speaker. So this woman, OMG, her name is Kornelia Springer, and she is a co-host on the Transformation Talk Radio Network. I met her back in an event called Dream Big, and this woman is absolutely a voice for change, doing so many wonderful services for her community. And she is here to talk to us today about the kids of the cosmos. Welcome to the show, Kornelia Springer.
Thank you, Cornelia and Dr. Pat. It's a pleasure to be here.
Look, I got so many questions for you. I don't know where I'm going to begin, but I got to start out with, of course, you to tell us what you're going to talk about. But I'm really struck by your message, and let me tell you which part of it, because you got a whole bunch of them, right? You know, you're born a mystic, a visionary, a game changer, a revolutionary, but destiny embraced. That is the thing that I want to talk to you about as it relates to this summit. And the reason I'm really so struck by that is because how often does destiny stare us in the face, tap us on the shoulder, hit us up beside the head, tickle us with the feather, and we're looking around like, what do you want me to do? What part of destiny embraced tapped you on the shoulder to bring you here now?
Oh my God. You know what? I was brought up in a religious environment as a Seventh-day Adventist, went to a little church and a little school. When I was 13 years old, I had, in ninth grade, my first research paper. I had to pick a topic out of 20 to 30 titles. And there was a topic on there called reincarnation. I had no idea, none, what that meant, right? And I did a 10-page report, and I discovered all these children in India who remembered their husbands, their wives, their brothers, their sisters. And although they believe in reincarnation, their parents didn't believe them. It was white men from the West that came over there and had the money to take these kids hundreds of miles to wherever they said their previous lives were. And when they took them there, the people there, Hindu as well, didn't believe them. They were just dismissive until those children could tell them something very specific. And one young girl that I remember was, I think she was killed in their store. Somebody robbed their store, and she had hidden some money in the floor of her upstairs apartment. And she wanted her husband to know about it because they were struggling. And no one believed her. She told them all their names, all of this history. And then finally she told her husband something that they had done sexually. And he believed that it was true. And then she said, I have something to show you. Took them upstairs, and in the floor was the money. So as a 13-year-old, I was raised Christian, but as a 13-year-old, I already knew there was so much more to this world than anybody understood. I asked my parents, who is God? Like, how did we get here? And at 11, I knew they couldn't answer, and they were doing the best they could. And today, I see so many people who, like myself, were born highly intuitive with no frame of reference, no validation, and they're spinning and they're struggling, and they cannot, like you said, you know, destiny is hitting them all upside their head, in their face, and they can't move towards it because they don't trust themselves. They don't trust God. They can't hear God because they can't hear themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what I love about what you're talking about in your story is, look, I got expelled from Catholic boarding school at age 6. Do you know what you have to do to get expelled from a Catholic boarding school at age 6 years old? There's only one thing that will get you expelled, right? And it's exactly what you're talking about. The minute that you have a conversation with Mother Superior and you say to her, Mother Superior, I got to tell you, I looked at Jesus in the 9th station of the cross, and he said, Mom is with him. The minute that you talk as if you are having a conversation with the divine, with Jesus, with Baha'u'llah, you know, anything, the minute that you say you're doing that, fasten your seatbelt, right?
Yes.
Right. But we're here, and you're speaking at the summit because of all that you have said to yourself and acknowledge the truth within. That's why we're here, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, I looked at that word truth for the first time a few days ago. And 2 words inside of that. And the first one was rut, R-U-T. and the next one was hurt. And when we're not willing to tell ourselves the absolute truth about our situation, regardless of what anybody else believes, regardless of what anyone else thinks, we find ourselves in this rut, in this cycle that we cannot break. And we're hurt by it. And so what God put in us, by whatever name you call God or acknowledge the divine, what God put in us cannot be expressed in that space. And I want to just, touch on Deborah, because I did a process with her a few days ago, and it was so powerful. So many things in my life that had me spinning in cycles. She just broke the cycle for me. And so people are struggling today. And because they're walking around acknowledging only their intellect, and this other side, we're born of the spirit. We are spirit. We're not these bodies. We possess a body. And so if you don't know who you are, if you don't know your story, you're going to keep repeating it. You're going to keep repeating it and blaming people in your circumstances. It's time to change our mind.
It actually is. And please, I don't want you all to go. Stay to the end, if you don't mind. I know some of you may have to go to other appointments, but if you just hang on, there's an energy here. And believe me, it's more powerful than I could describe. Kornelia, awesome. Look at these women, right? And we're not done yet, right?
No, as a matter of fact, we have a person right now that I want to bring on that is extraordinary. And she was actually the person that suggested the idea to have a summit. And it is this woman, Brooke Packard, that I would like to introduce you all today, that this is the reason why this summit exists. So here we are, Brooke Packard. She's going to talk to us about a very, very important subject that we all need. Welcome to the show, Brooke.
Hey, Brooke.
Hi, Pat. Thank you so much for having us on. And thank you so much, Kornelia, for coordinating all this. It's going to be just a game changer. Everyone's listening will find things that are metaphysical, spiritual, practical. It's change your mind, change your life, right?
Yeah. I got to ask you, since you were the seedling, just saying, not calling you a plant or anything, but it's not a bad thing to be called. I got to ask you, because there are a lot of people here. What was your intuitive hit? Not your logical, cognitive, Kornelia, you got to do a summit. But you see, there are no things that I believe happen on this earth. I dialed the wrong phone number. That's why I'm here. But I didn't hang up. I'm serious. 15 years ago, I dialed the wrong phone number. So underneath what Kornelia said, there's something else. I want to know what that something else is. What did you see, envision, feel? What was that? Why was this so important?
Well, I have one of my superpowers is to make connections. I don't download ancestors or anything, but I make connections and weave a web. And when I met Deborah and Kornelia and Kornelia, I said, my bad, I was like, and Nina and all these wonderful people back in early March, I just said, there's something here. Let's move forward. Let's not be at the whim. Let's co-create something together. And I've been doing this my whole life. If someone says, you can't take this class or it's too expensive, I'll go like, I know, we'll have our own. Let's go, So that is kind of what that's one of the things I do.
But when we think about this and we think about the energy, and, I've asked, I've asked some of the people on the show right now to just hang on till the end. There is something that gets created that's greater than any one of us. And I want to ask you, when all is said and done at the end of the summit, what would that something look like for you? What would you envision energetically? I know. See, I just love these questions. I don't know where they come from, but you got this one.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we can feel that. Well, I mean, my vision is that we are all empowered in every possible way to move forward and birth a new and better world. We're facing a crisis. And one of my specialties is bedtime and sleep and being a storyteller and taking that's very special time of day, which comes around every single day, and making it sacred and intentional. And one of my stories will be sharing how I solved my problem with all sorts of practical habit things, but there was something missing. And I began to, I found the missing piece. And I also found that there is a great sorrow and a great mission for all of us to join in together. And that's what I'll be sharing together. So I think that's sort of a circuitous way of saying my vision is that we are all empowered to move together, create new networks, birth a new earth, because we really need to do that now.
Yeah, we do. We do. One of the things that I think is that we're not just giving birth to a thing. There's a new energy. That's why I've asked everybody to stay on this as well. Kornelia, we have a number of other women joining us here today as well. And part of this is it takes the seedling, it takes the seed to create the seedling, but it also takes drops of water. It takes each of us to really nurture and care for our individual pieces, but for the whole. And that's what this is about. What are we, I have no idea who else is joining us here today.
Yes. Pat, I think what we want to do, it looks like we want to take a break and kind of regroup and make sure that we're good. And then we're going to bring on Dana Terrio, and we're going to bring on Nina Sky. And that's who we're going to bring. So
we could skip the rest of the breaks. I tell you, I don't care if we skip breaks, but we'll take a short one. We'll be right back and line everything up, rocking and rolling on this. But before we do, I got to have a website for folks to know where they even go to how are they going to know how to tune in?
ChangeYourMind.us.
Oh, wait, it's Change Your Mind, us.
Yep.
Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Free your mind. Okay, don't sing, right? I love that song, Benny. Benny, was I right? Was that in vogue?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah. I love them. I just love them.
I saw them in concert, like 3-4 years ago when they were at the Snoqualmie Casino up here. They were fantastic.
Oh, fantastic. I know. Like, they are timeless, but they were powerful. I got to tell you, I don't know what year that song is. Maybe you can look it up for me, but that song was so far ahead of its time that anybody that's even talking about anything about free your mind or any kind of movement right now, they should be talking to them ladies.
Yeah, it was definitely 90s, 92. I looked it up, and a quick shout out to Invoke. They looked at every single person in the room while they were singing.
Oh,
entertainers for sure.
They are. I'm telling you, that's what we're talking about today. Everybody they're great looking, actually. Everybody today that is hearing about this summit, you're going to be speaking with people that are going to look you right in the eye. They're going to look you right in the eye, because what we're talking about here today is not just changing your mind. When you change your mind, you not only free your mind, but you free yourself. You free your soul. Kornelia, look, we got some folks joining us now for this, and they are speakers at the summit. So let's go. Who do we have next?
We have next one very powerful leading lady who has recently become my co-host on the Lady Boss Show. So without further ado, allow me to introduce to you Dana Terrio.
Hi, Dana. We're all like lady bosses, right? I'm the lady boss of ping pong. Just FYI. Dana, it's great to have you.
Hi, Dr. Pat. I'm so grateful to be here at the table of triumph with all these women and their mastery.
Man, I'll tell you. Look, this is for you. We don't have to explain the reason for you to show up. A lot of what you do talks to that. But there's a why. The question why. This is one of my least favorite words. Anybody in the human potential movement says, never ask anybody why. But I need to ask why. Because we are here today on the edge. We are on the edge of major, major transformation in a way that I've never seen in my lifetime. And I got to tell y'all, I'm a 60s child. I marched in Alabama with my mother. I marched on Washington. I was at Stonewall. And I'm telling you that where we are today, that pales. Why for you is this and your message important?
I love that you asked that question, Dr. Pat. I cannot not be here. If I got the invitation, the divine tap, I must be here. I have a daughter, I have a little girl, and I identify as a reluctant mother because I just feel I have such a burden of responsibility to show her the way. We are at the edge. This is a new day. We cannot not show up. As women, we get a chance to do leadership differently. And what I love about the Change Your Mind Summit is that the mind is an instrument. And I just want to be a woman of influence, on a cellular level, personal level, interpersonally. When we lead with the mind, the body follows, because I don't believe that they're separate. The mind body, that's everything. And for me, it's about showing my daughter what she can identify with.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It comes down to identity, and it's truth. And we're responsible for doing leadership differently. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, I got a new sense of empowerment, and I want you to comment on this. I got a new sense of empowerment a couple of years ago. When my hair grows out, it's your color. Okay. When my hair goes out, it's like your color. And believe it or not, it's not gray. It really does grow out like brunette with very little gray, right? So somebody said to me, why do you color your hair? And so I used to come up anytime anybody asked me why with a big dissertation and a big reason and some ridiculous common sense answer. But a couple of years ago, I was given an answer by the Akashic Records. I hope Deborah's listening. The answer was simply, I am called to do this. I'm called to be a blonde right now. And there it was. It is just something that is so a part of me just doing it. And I got to ask you, what are you called to do? And you can do your hair too, but what are you called to do?
I am called to lead the next generation of ladies. I really feel that what we're saying here today, women are inherently creative. We don't birth babies, and we're not mothers because we birth babies. We birth ideas, we birth projects and people. That's our inherent gift. That's our womanhood. And this co-creation has been such an engagement for me to a new level. It's been a real game changer. And I just feel so called to show up in my gifts. It's not a genetic endowment. It's our operating system, how we operate with our gifts. So I'm all heart. So I'm all in with heart, playing full out with presence and full out with possibility. I'm just so in love with the human growth and potential movement.
I'm getting ready to do a podcast that's directed at the two writers, producers of Game of Thrones. Them. And the podcast that I'm getting ready to direct at them is why has Game of Thrones betrayed women leaders all over the world? And clearly that's not going to be a very popular podcast for Game of Thrones fans, but it is about how we are projected and percepted as women leaders. And thank goodness for the Dalai Lama saying we can be powerful and compassionate. We can be wealthy and we can be all encompassing empathetic to people. We can be altruistic and yet at the same time, we can be people that believes in powerful initiatives. And that's part of what you're talking about here.
It is. And the Game of Thrones topic, it's wildly provocative because it provokes thought. And that's great. And the Dalai Lama said that the Western woman would change the world. We're no better, but so many other world, Melinda Gates was talking about how economies are built on the backs of women in poverty. We are not in so much poverty. We are responsible to honor the women before us, and we're responsible with agency to lead the next generation. I learned from young women today, the next generation, they're not putting up with anything. I admire them. I don't identify with everybody, but I admire everyone. The no apologies, without explanation. They're making the impossible possible with I'm possible. And I love it. It's a great time to be a woman. No man says it's a scary time to be a man. It's very, very different.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I love what we're talking about. I work with women in addiction and recovery, and I work mostly with young women in addiction and recovery. And if you want to hear the truth, you come talk to these ladies. Thank you. This is going to be awesome, Kornelia.
Yes, I cannot wait. I'm so excited. And by the way, everyone, you can listen more to Dana Terrio on the fourth Friday every single month on the Lady Boss Show. She's co-hosting together with me. And tomorrow is my podcast on Living Heaven on Earth, Friday, 12 noon Pacific time, Transformation Talk Radio. Download your favorite podcast app and make sure you type in Kornelia Stephanie, not to miss the good juju that we are sending out into the world. Now, my next guest, OMG. She is a powerhouse and she is definitely an influencer. She is a business strategist and she is here to remind everyone to be the MVP of their business. Welcome to the show, Nina Sky.
Nina, we can't hear Nina. What happened? Nina, no. Let's see. She's got to turn her sound on. Knock your phone a little bit. That's what I do every time I have to get that. I know.
So I'm gonna talk while Nina's trying to get her sound on. So what Nina's going to be talking about is, like I said, she's going to be bringing tips and strategies on how to be the MVP of your business. And, so many women are stepping into their power to be powerful entrepreneurs in the world and also thriving entrepreneurs. Nina is writing a book on the millionaire. It's not the millionaire imprint, but it's definitely about how to be a millionaire. She was recently featured on the news in the town of where she lives about her book. And she's a wonderful, fantastic influence of change. And I'm so delighted and honored to have her part of this summit. Because like I told you, Pat, I'm bringing you the best of the best, bringing the best of the best people to this summit so that we can navigate the upcoming changes with ease and grace. Is Nina here? Is Nina able to get her?
No, you know what? I don't think so. But what I'd like to do is I think we should go to a short break. And then when we come back, let's see if we can get Nina on here. Carter, take us to a short break. Benny, take us to a short break. And I got to figure out what's happening with my Zoom too. Let's go to a short break and see if we can help Nina out. Come on here a little bit. Benny, let's do it. We'll be right back. Nina, I'm glad you're joining us. Look, tell us what you're going to be talking about, and also why are you talking about it?
Hello, all. So my name is Nina, of course, and I will be talking about how to become the MVP of your business. The reason why I think this is an important topic is because most people forget about what's in between deciding to open up a business and making money once they have opened up a business. They forget about the foundational side and the operational side. So that's why I decided to talk about the more important things, which is mindset, vision, purpose, and persistence.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I hope one of the things you talk about is helping women ask for what they're worth, because that is a thing that we need a little bit of work on right there, Nina. We need a little bit of work on, like, not dumbing down our value when we put the price on something.
That is so true, Dr. Pat. That's very true. Most of us don't even give ourselves the accountability and the credibility that we want the world and our spouses and our family and fans to to give. You know, we don't give it to ourselves, and we have to change that. We have to start with believing in ourselves if we want other people to believe in us and our vision.
Wow. Well, I got to tell you, I'm super excited. Cornelia, let's do this. Give out the website. And then I got one question for everybody. Everybody's mic needs to be on, Carter. And that everybody's mic and camera needs to be on. And after Cornelia goes to the website, I got one question for you. I'd like everybody to pick a word and tell me what that word is that's going to describe the end game for the summit. And I'll give you a countdown after Cornelia gives us the website. Thank you, everybody.
Changeyourmind.us. Changeyourmind.us. Change it on, share it on social media, and be put into a drawing to win up to $3,500 of free gifts. It's
all right, Brooke, turn on your camera. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do the famous Dr. Pat countdown, which is literally 3, 2, 1. And then all of you in your most powerful voice, one word that describes your end game for the Change Your Mind Summit. Just one word. I know that's hard. And shopping, I'm sure that would only be my word, shopping. But one word, right? We're going to do the countdown now. I'm going to do it now. 3, 2, 1.
Connection.
I love it. I want to thank you. Changeyourmind.us. Thanks to all of you. It's great to see all of you here. Not only is this going to be an amazingly powerful message to the world, it's a necessary one. It's necessary. Thank you all. Cornelia, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, we're going to take a short break. If you've missed any part of this show will replay later. These women are amazing. Changeyourmind.us and free your mind. We'll see you in a minute. We'll be right back.